Well, I'm here to finish my review of Rurouni Kenshin Kyoto Inferno. Another film I strongly suggest you check out. The whole trilogy, like I've said before, is incredible. It's absolutely amazing. So, our movie begins. Kenshin's at a play, and it's a kind of humorous scene. The play's actually a comedy about the Batosai. Well, next day, Lord Akubo, one of the heads of the new Meiji government and one of the three leading founders of the Imperialists, comes to Kenshin. Hey, your successor as Batosai is causing trouble, killing people. He's threatening to overthrow the government. We need your help. The government even tries to point things out like, that doctor that's helping you, she was involved in the opium incident. If you help us, we'll overlook her crimes. And naturally, she would rather go to the gallows than be used as a pawn against Kenshin. Well, long story short, he gets killed and Kenshin decides to go to Kyoto alone. Karu and Yahiko follow at some point, and so does Sano before encountering Aoshi. Now, Aoshi's backstory in this is a little different. I said I'd explain it in this review. And again, spoiler alert, but I'm going to try and keep spoilers to a minimal. Him and Kenshin never fought in the war, that's the same, only the Oniwaban group was basically thrown under the bus at the surrender, and his men were being executed. Aoshi fought to save him, but ultimately it was to no avail. He was even sought after for a top ranking position in the government, and he didn't care about that. He's now consumed with hatred and just wants to defeat Kenshin to be the strongest. But he does have the double Kodachis from the start. Now, as we go along, Kenshin encounters this ninja girl, Misao. Spoiler alert again. She's part of the Oniwaban group. Although she's not out to get Kenshin, Aoshi is separated from them at this point. Well, she steals his sword. They make it to a village where a kid's family has been killed, and they're hanging from trees. It's because his brother was a policeman trying to spy on Shishio. Shishio was in the nearby village, and this is where we get the first fight. Well, not the first fight between Kenshin and Shishio, just the first encounter. Long story short, Shishio keeps this village for his own because the hot springs help his burns. Remember, this was a guy burned alive. He looks like a mummy, but what makeup you see, he also looks like a burn victim. Now, Shishio doesn't fight him, but passes the pleasure to Shojiro, who I explained in the anime is like Sonic the Hedgehog if Sonic the Hedgehog was murderous and super polite about it. Well, Kenshin's sword gets broken in the fight, so we get to a point where Kenshin has to find another sword. When he gets to Tokyo, well, let's say the Oniwaban group helps him out. He manages to find the sword maker, but at this same point, Shishio brought the Ten Swords in, a group that gets the short end of the stick in the anime. A lot of them were real powerhouses or in a few scenes in the movie. But again, adaptation, you have to leave things out. Well, there's a whole fight over this master sword maker's last sword, who is the one that gave Kenshin his reverse blade. Spoiler alert, it's the perfect reverse blade. The one Kenshin was given was an inferior. It was a custom, and that sword was left as at the shrine as a gift to the god, and the inferior one was given to Kenshin. Well, there's a sword hunter Shishio sends out. He's after the sword. The guy's son is being threatened, and you get a great fight scene where Kenshin has to fight, but he can't use his broken sword. until he gets the new sword and it's revealed to be the reverse blade. At this point, Kenshin is actually prepared to kill to save this child's life. And he doesn't realize it's a reverse blade till after he strikes the guy down. Well, that's about it for that part. And again, one of the things I love about this movie is part 2 takes everything great about part 1 and just dials it up. Remember the awesome fight scene in the courtyard? They top it in this movie. Well, eventually they find out Shishio's men are going to burn Kyoto to the ground. Kenshin had to go back to Kyoto, where the revolution was fought, and it's symbolic of Kenshin also confronting his past. Well, you get this incredible fight scene where every single character in the movie gets their time. Not every character in the movie, but all of the hero characters, they get their time to shine. And one funny thing I like in it is before the fight begins, and Saito's a chain smoker, he's smoking, finishes the cigarette before the battle starts. And as it starts, he is already lit another one up, and after a few blows, he realizes, I hadn't got time for this, and throws it out. Yahigo gets a few great moments in here. Karu gets a few great moments. The Oniwaban group helps fight to defend Kyoto. The policemen, even the ninja girl, Michao, gets some awesome moments, as well as one of the best lines in the movie. And also, when Sasano shows up, he just starts taking out guys left and right, and I love how his fight scenes have a little. Whenever he's on screen fighting, they always try to put, except for one fight, some kind of a comedic element in it. The first movie, him taking a break to eat the chicken. The second movie, he tickles a guy to keep from getting choked to death. I mean, the third movie, he tickles a guy to keep from getting choked to death. This one, he comes in, wow, you went through all this trouble for this welcome for old Sano the Brawler. And he's looking for Kenshin. At one point, he tries to pole bolt across a river, and he falls in the river halfway through, and he's just mad. He's like, Kenshin, you'll be doing my laundry for a month for this. And when he meets up with Kenshin, he punches him in the face because he left him behind. Well, things happen in this battle. I'm not going to get too spoilery. I'm just going to say it ends on an incredible cliffhanger, and also shows a character fans of the anime were beginning to worry was going to be left out. Sujiro Hiku, Kenshin's master. As well as during the fight for Tokyo, there's a great fight scene where Aoshi fights the former head of the Oniwaban group and mortally wounds him. He doesn't die immediately, but it's clear if he doesn't take it easy, he's gonna die. And Aoshi at this point is just so consumed with hate, all he wants to do is kill Kenshin to prove to be the best, to justify the deaths of his Oniwaban guard. Now, this movie is phenomenal. It's better than the first one in every way, shape, or form. The darker moments are darker. It has deeper, more emotional moments. Maybe not as many lighthearted moments, but the action tops the first one in every way. It is awesome and a solid middle point for the trilogy, and like all great trilogies, the hero is at his lowest point in this. Now, in the second one, we meet more about Sujiro Hiku, and like I mentioned, their Star Wars parallels. This one does have a strong Empire Strikes Back feel at times. Maybe not in the overtones, but it's still there. And like I even mentioned in the Origins video about the parallels to Star Wars and how the Hiten Mitsurugi is kind of like the Sith with the rule of two. Well, as we find out in the next movie, the way it's supposed to go, to learn the ultimate technique, you have to counter. Well, they explain that in the anime, but basically, in the anime, there's two major killing techniques. The two strongest move. One is a multi-slab and stash move that cuts at all the vital points. And the ultimate move is the only counter that can defeat that move. And the way it's supposed to work is basically you're taught how to do it and you have to master it as your opponent's coming at you with the other move. So to become the master, you have to kill your master. Now, again, left stuff out, but like I've said before, for 3 2 hour and 15-minute adaptations, they have to do that. Next is the third one, The Legend Ends. My favorite in the trilogy because of this awesome 4-on-1 fight at the end. So, again, I highly recommend it. I give this a 9.5 out of 10. It's incredible. Just go see it. Don't you want to like, comment, or subscribe? Any of the above? Feel free to. If you don't like the video, feel free to dislike. Thank you, bye.